I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous, down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me elevating, got them nauseous, cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option, woo. Watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here, woo.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Best Bet for Noche UFC. We have a really good card tonight. We got that pay-per-view feel, a card that is stacked from top to bottom. We got a title fight up top as well. I'm really looking forward to this card. And I'm looking forward to this show as well. We're approaching the end of the best bet competition. We got Narco here, who's currently sitting pretty in third place with 4 cards to go. And Patrick, Addicted to Combat, has been slowly climbing up the rankings as well. So yeah, should be a good show today. Definitely looking forward to it. Before we get started, if you all can please leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel. And I also did link down Narco, Johnny, and Patrick's YouTube down in the description as well. Down there as well, you'll find the standings and the rules for best bets. So going to kick it around. We'll start with Narco. Narco, how are you feeling about this card?
Feeling very fucking good. I have a lot of bets. We'll see.
How many bets do you have, Narco? How many?
80 plus on this card. I think that's a lot of bets.
Crazy.
I'm a volume better at the end of the day. I'm not a 1, 2, or 3 type of better. You know, I'm a volume better. I bet a lot of props, and I have 80 plus bets and a lot of money invested. Brady, pray for me.
Yeah, I heard you before the stream. A lot of your night comes down to Raw Roses, and I'm right there with you. I think like 40% of my betting card has Raw Rosas Jr. involved. So it should be fun, and hopefully he gets it done. We got a Johnny K in the building. What is up, Johnny? You looking forward to Noche UFC?
I'm actually looking forward to this one more so than the last card. I think there's going to be better fights on this card too. I'm really interested to see about the main event, see what happens this time, and looking forward to winning some money.
And last but not least, we got Patrick in the building. Patrick, what is up? You looking forward to the card?
Absolutely, man. There's a really good feel to this card, just being themed around the Mexican Independence Day, all of the Mexican fighters. We know how durable, how much they bring the fight. So I'm excited for it, man. And this rematch in the main event is certainly worthy of a big spot here in Las Vegas. Alexa Grasso, Shevchenko Part 2. I cannot wait.
100%. Let's shout out the chat before we get started. We got Nick Weber in here, AK Shoot Proof. We got Frank. We got Pete. We got Jussie Q. We got Ryan. We got Kirill. Shout out to Kirill, the thrill with the 49.9 saying, great to make one of these, Brady. You are 17 out of 20 on your last 20 fights. Heck yeah, good job. Glad I can make it, man. I see Holland in the bullet getting it done. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about those fights. 2 of the best fights of the card in that co-main and main. We got Demare in the chat. We got Mel in the chat. Mo, Ben, what is up, everybody? So we have 11 fights, 10 bets. So there will be 1 pass on this entire card for these 3 guys here. All right. We're going to kick it off with the first fight on the card. We have Josephine Kutson going against Marnik Man. Knutson's currently sitting at -700, and we have Marnik Man sitting at +500. We'll start with you, Johnny. What is your best bet for the first fight of the card?
I'm going to take a shot on this one and say fight doesn't go the distance, and that's at +100 on DraftKings. Both these girls are making their UFC debut. We did just recently see Knutson in the Dana White Contender Series, and she looked very solid. Should have probably got a contract, but didn't. Dana White wasn't feeling very generous that night, I guess. But they are making this is kind of a somewhat short notice for both fighters too. But Man's taking this fight on a shorter notice, which is kind of weird. But I do think Josephine should be able to get this one done inside the distance. But just to be safe, maybe Newton, adrenaline dumps in the first round and doesn't get that finish. So I'm going to go fight doesn't go the distance for plus 100.
Fight doesn't go plus 100 for Johnny. Narco, what are you liking in this first fight of the night?
I'm going to go with Kutson KO here at plus 185. I know she doesn't have a lot of KOs on her record, but man, this girl, every fight you watch her, these girls are bleeding all over the place. They're fucking broken. I mean, she's hurting just about every single girl she's fought. And now she's fighting a girl in Marnik Man who, she's been knocked out once, obviously, by a head kick in Contender Series, but in that same exact fight, she got hurt by a kick to the body prior to that from Bruna Brazil. And one thing that Kutson does very well is, man, her knees in the clinch are just absolutely nasty. And when you look at this fight, like Marnik Man has to get in the clinch so she can get takedowns, right? So I think she's going to eat a lot of knees to the body. She's going to get hurt at some point. Kutson is a pretty nasty 115-pound girl, man. Like she wants to put the hurting on you. And I just don't think Man is UFC level. And I also don't think she's even a strawweight, man. She's an atomweight. So I do think it's Kutson KO here at plus 185 for me.
All right, Narco on the Kutson KO plus 185. Johnny's on the fight doesn't go to decision. Patrick, what are you liking for the first fight of the card?
Yeah, I read this fight the exact same way that Narco just described it. You've got a 5-foot-tall, fighter in Marnik Man, and the clinch is going to be where Knutson's doing a lot of her better work. I don't think it's going to be too much of a height to travel for those big clinch knees when she gets that double collar tie in the clinch. I think it is going to be a KO. So I'm on the same side of Narco on that one, and the same side of Johnny because he's got the fight doesn't go. So
it's being a little safe.
There we go. All three guys on the violence. Will Pancake in the chat asking about Kutson minus 3.5, which looks like it's minus 250 on DK to cut the odds down. I honestly don't hate that. Like, it's hard for me to see Man winning around here. Any thoughts on that, guys?
I like that for a parlay piece for sure.
That's one of I played that actually. I have a play on minus 3.5 at I think what price did he get?
250 on DK right now.
Yeah, I think I play minus 230 on Bet Online earlier. A couple of days ago, I think I got it.
I don't hate it. All right. We'll keep moving on, though. We have the return of Alex Reyes, 6-year layoff going against Charlie Campbell. Should be a very fun fight here. We have Charlie Campbell currently sitting at minus 560. Alex Reyes sitting at plus 410. Really weird fight here to me, but I think this is a fight that's going to be very fun to watch at least. We'll kick it to you first, Patrick. What do you like for this fight here?
We only have 11 fights. I know we have to pass on one of them, and this is going to be my pass, but I do think it is a very straightforward, probably under 1.5 round knockout for Charlie Campbell. Even back, 6 years ago to the day today is the last time we saw Alex Reyes in the UFC. He got knocked out very quickly by Mike Perry. And if you watch even the stuff in King of the Cage from Alex Reyes, and we're going back years ago now, so this might not be relevant, but he just didn't really have a good striking defense, kind of skirts on the outside, fights one strike at a time, and looks to get the fight to the mat and grapple. I don't think he's going to have success, man. He's older now at 36, had really severe, out of the cage health issues. So I think he gets knocked out pretty quickly. That's at minus 210 for Campbell KO. But I got to take a pass on this one. I don't really see a good edge here.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, I was watching tape on Reyes, and I looked down, and it's like, oh, this fight was 9 years ago. Like, why am I even, watching this? It's ridiculous. Right. We'll kick it to Johnny. Johnny, what is your best bet for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm actually going to use my pass here as well. If I was going to play something, it would be maybe Campbell round 1 knockout because that's close to plus money, but I just don't know what's going to happen. I do think Campbell is the better fighter. He is making his UFC debut as well on short notice, and Reyes hasn't fought in 6 years. So to me, this is just kind of one of those fights where I just want to just watch it and gather more information from both these guys. But I do think Campbell gets it done because I don't trust Reyes at all coming back from 6 years. He's probably not even going to be the same kind of fighter, to be honest. So I'm just going to pass on this.
Nothing wrong with that. So Johnny using up his only pass. Patrick using up his only pass. Narco, are you passing on this fight or did you find something you like here?
I'm going to take the under 1.5. I think I just think Reyes is a kill or be killed type of fighter. He's probably going to be killed here. I don't even remember the last time there was a fighter that fought once in the UFC and then 7 or 6 years later makes a second fight. This is like the weirdest thing ever. Do you ever recall having a fighter being off for 6 years after one fight in the UFC and get knocked out? It's fucking really weird that they hung on to this guy, is my point. I don't even know why they hung on to Alex Reyes unless something with his medicals because of him getting hurt in a fight or something. I don't even know, but under 1.5 minus 220. I think Campbell kills him early. He's very aggressive, and so is Reyes. So I see a finish here.
Yeah, I like the under 1.5 as well. I saw it earlier in the week at like minus 170. That should have been a play, but even like minus 220, I think that's a solid play as well. And I do personally have the under 2.5 parlayed as like a chalky parlay piece that I like. I couldn't drink the last time Reyes fought, and I'm 25. There you go. Same, actually.
Also, on the Campbell side, he had not even taken his first amateur fight the last time that Reyes fought.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He's had a whole amateur career, a whole professional career, and the long layoff of Alex Reyes. It's pretty crazy.
I know. I can't think of a layoff that big. I remember Mike Jackson had a pretty long layoff, but that was only like 3-4 years. Misha Tate had a really long layoff, but that was only like 3 or 4 years.
The Nick Diaz one. Nick Diaz between fighting Silva and going back against Lawler.
That was probably 5 years, right? Around there.
I think that was 6.5.
Oh, was it? Wow. Okay.
I think it was from January 2015 to September 2021, if I'm calling that correctly.
And he ended up getting knocked out. So yeah, I think Campbell probably gets him out of there and won. All right, we'll move on to the next fight here. So there's like 3 fights on this card where there's like strong arguments back and forth, and I think it has to do with there's no really closely lined fights besides these 3, and this is the first one. You got Tracy Cortez, Jasmine Jasudavicius. Tracy Cortez now minus 131, Jasmine Jasudavicius plus 111. Really curious to hear which side you guys are on. We'll start with Johnny. Johnny, which side you like in here, and what is your best bet?
Yeah, I'm on the Jasmine side here. I got a bet on her as well. Both girls are, very good wrestlers, as we all know, but I just like Jasmine's like grit, toughness. She's going to be the bigger fighter here. I also think she's going to be stronger in the clinch, and she's had some very good elbows and knees in the clinch too. We've seen Cortez too kind of slow down as the fight goes on too in the 3rd round too, and we've only seen Jasmine push forward. Yeah, she can be hit a lot, but Cortez doesn't have the greatest striking either. So I'm gonna go with Jasmine as my best bet on this. I got plus 110 money line. I'm just gonna go with the money line here, and I think she gets it done. Close 29-28 decision.
I'll give you a plus 111 there. So give you.
Okay, I'll take that. Perfect.
There you go. Patrick, what is your best bet for this fight?
But on the complete opposite side of my good friend Johnny K here, I do have a bet personally on Tracy Cortez, and that'll be the best bet for this one. I think minus 125 maybe is the best I'm seeing on Bovada right now. If you can find a better one, let me know. But I like I like it. Yeah, the pure wrestling of Tracy Cortez, the pure athleticism and strength, reversal strength. If she ends up in bottom, I think she could shimmy her hips around and end up on top. And I think that's what this is going to come down to. Even striking wise, I think she's the faster striker here if it plays out in that realm. But the only worrying thing, and Johnny hit the nail on the head, is I've seen spots where Jasmine looks very good to finish a fight in round 3, and I've seen spots where Cortez does slow down in that later round. So I'm hoping Cortez gets the early work done, starts dominating the fight, and her long layoffs do worry me as well. So those are my worries. The pacing of the fight as it goes on for Cortez, the layoffs, we don't have a lot of data to go off of, but fighter for fighter, I think she's the better fighter in this one.
All right, so we got Patrick on the Cortez side. We got Johnny on the Jasmine side. Narco, it's 1-1. What do you got in this one?
I'll break the tie here. I have a bet on Tracy Cortez. There's a couple of reasons why I like her in this spot. First of all, I think her wrestling is really good. Jasmine hasn't really faced a wrestler like this. People kind of point to Miranda Maverick, but I mean, Miranda Maverick is not even close in the wrestling department, And in that fight, she fought very weird as well. Like Maverick just stood there and struck the whole time with her, which was very awkward. Tracy's going to go for takedowns, man. And the thing that I think is really important here is Tracy's fought at 35 a couple of times, and she's fought big girls. When you look at Egger's a big chick, and she's a 35er. And then when you look at a girl like Melissa Gatto, I mean, she's a big girl that's extremely strong at 25. So, she's had success with both these girls, and, now she faces Jasmine. And the thing that sticks out with Jasmine, yeah, she has good takedown defense. Yeah, she seems strong in the clinch. But once you get her down, she doesn't really she doesn't look good off her back. So I like Tracy Cortez here. She's gotten I think all of her opponents down at one point or another. And I think she has success here in the wrestling. So I'm going to take Tracy Cortez. Yes, the cardio is a little bit of a thing. But I honestly think, I've been hearing about the striking thing. I honestly think she's the cleaner striker here between the two. Like she's on her toes. She's bouncing in and out. She's throwing 1-2s. Jasmine just comes forward like a zombie throwing punches. She's not really technical at all. So I do like the pace. I do like the pressure from Jasmine. But I think technically and as far as wrestling, I like the Cortez side. So I am going to take Tracy Cortez here, -120 on the money line.
All right, so we got Patrick and Narco on the Cortez side, Johnny on the Jasmine side. We got Big Show in the chat. What is up, Big Show? Vulcan on the Tracy side. Linnell saying she's cute, but Jasmine's too big of a dog. We'll have to see. We got Dixon joining us as well. What is up? Jasmine line movement tells me she wins. There hasn't really been line movement. I mean, Tracy Cortez was like -125 early in the week. She's now -131. But I don't know. We'll have to see. It should be a very, very fun fight. But all right, let's move on to the next fight. Very fun fight here. We got Edgar Chariz going against Daniel Lacerda. We got Chariz currently sitting as a -225 favorite, and we have Daniel Lacerda sitting as a +190 underdog. Narco, I saw your post on Twitter, and I really agree with this. So I'm curious to hear your take on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I have a passionate take on this fight, honestly. I've seen a lot of love for Daniel Da Silva, and I just don't get it in this fight, honestly. Like, I get it if his opponent was wilty, if his opponent didn't have a good chin, if his opponent, quit. I mean, that's all the things that Chariz isn't. He's extremely tough. He's never been KO'd. He's got good sub defense. I know he's been sub, but he's got good sub defense. The kid is only 27 years old. He has very, very good boxing. I mean, extremely good calf kicks. It's just a terrible matchup, in my opinion, for Silva. And Silva has 5 minutes. Let's not look past that. Like, that's a thing in every single one of his fights. It hasn't changed. And people seem to think it's somehow going to change now. I don't see it, man. This guy has 16 fights. All of them have ended early. Like, this guy can't go 2-3 rounds. Chariz can go for 3 rounds. Chariz can go for 5 rounds, to be honest. And I love his KO prop here, man. It's 245 on Bet Rivers, which is way off the market. It's like 60 cents difference. He's going to knock Silva out. It could be round 1. It could be round 2. He hits pretty damn hard. I know he doesn't have a lot of knockouts, but I think he hits hard. And it doesn't take a lot to knock out Silva because Ultima Moreno, who really can't knock anybody out, stopped him on the ground with ground and pound. I mean, Silva just wilts, dude. If he doesn't get you out of there, he's going to wilt. And this is a terrible matchup, in my opinion. This is very similar, if not worse than Vergara, where he landed that spinning kick. Like, how often is it going to land a spinning kick like that, that lands flush? It's not very high. So give me Chariz here by KO, +245. I really like that play here.
All right, Narco taking the Chariz KO +245. Yeah, good odds there on that. I didn't even see it. Patrick,
it's on Bet Rivers Unibet if anybody has those books.
Yeah, I definitely do. Patrick, what do you like over this fight?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Narco said, I mean, how often do you see a spinning wheel kick land flush like that? He landed it twice on CJ Vergara during that flurry. And then eventually, like Narco's saying, you just see a spot where Daniel Da Silva just goes, all right, I didn't get the job done here. Let's just call it. And he just kind of quits. He kind of wilts. So I like that KO prop. I'm going to play the safer route here and just take the Chariz money line at -225 just to get it done. However, because a guy that wilts and just quits in the fight like that when he gets tired, and Da Silva, he could give up a neck. He could give up the KO either way. And the inside the distance is not far off from the money line at all. So give me the Chariz money line -225. I cannot trust a guy who's now 0-4 in the UFC, all by finish. The guy's never seen a round 3, never seen the scorecard, seen round 2 like maybe twice. So yeah, I like what Narco said. I mean, Edgar Chariz is a guy who has some of his better parts of a fighter in round 1, so he's going to be hard to put away.
Yeah, for sure. Johnny, are you on the Chariz side yourself? Or are you going the other way?
Yeah, I'm on the Chariz side here, but I'm kind of just going to swing for the fences on this one. I think Silva is going to do what he normally does. He's going to come out crazy in that first round, but he's not going to be able to get Chariz out of there because he's very tough. He's durable. So I think Chariz will get that finish in the second round when Silva just doesn't have any gas whatsoever. So give me Chariz to win. in the second round. That's at plus 550 on DraftKings.
Yep.
I like that.
I like it as well. I'm leaning second round myself. Yeah, I agree with all you guys. You know, I can't get to Daniel Lacerda because, you know, Chariz has cardio, or at least better cardio than De Silva. Anybody does. And he has durability, and De Silva just doesn't. I mean, getting finished by Altamirano, even CJ Vergara is not finishing anybody. So, yeah, I think Chariz probably gets it done, and then hopefully round 2. All right. Let's see here. We got Alex in the chat. What is up? We got Chariz unanimous decision. That would be one heck of a sweat, Dixon.
Insane.
And a Lacerda fight, that's for sure. You're gonna be the Chariz whisperer. There you go. We got Richard on Lacerda. Yeah, a lot of people are. We'll see if he can get it done.
He's a good fighter. Like, he is a good fighter, but he just has a window of time where he's a good fighter. If they made UFC fights where it was like 4 minutes, he'd be the champion probably.
He'd be up there. He'd be top five for sure. But yeah, the cardio is a serious issue, and the durability. All right, we'll move on to this next fight. Some crazy line movement here. So we have Roman Kopylov currently minus 300. We got Josh Fremd plus 250. Kopylov was all the way to like minus 450 at one point in the week. There has been some serious buyback on the Fremd side. Well, kick it to you first, Johnny. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I really like Roman Kopylov to win this fight. He's actually one of my most confident picks on the card. And I know there's crazy heavy favorites on this card, but I think this is actually my most confident pick. He's the way better striker on the feet. He's got very good takedown defense. And Josh Fremd, I mean, he's not awful anywhere, but he's not amazing anywhere. He can grapple, yeah. He can kind of wrestle. He can kind of strike, but his head movement's not there at all. And I know he's a bigger guy, but I think Kopylov can get him out of there. I don't think he's going to be in the first round, though. So for my best bet, I'm going to do Kopylov to win by knockout in rounds 2 or 3. And that's on FanDuel. I think that's at plus 280.
All right.
I think he does get that knockout.
Yep, that's typically how he does it. Round 2, round 3. I don't mind it at all. Patrick, what do you like for this fight here?
This is a spot where, man, I'm just going to pick the Kopylov money line at minus 300 or whatever it's moved back down to. I think that's more reasonable. Still think he should be around maybe minus 250 or 260, but it's just like, how does he do it? And I'm not historically the best guy at picking Kopylov fights. I got a really bad opinion of him early on against Duraev and Roberson, and I just did not trust in his gas tank, but he's been proving me wrong, making improvements, finishing people down the stretch later into fights. And I've been wrong the past 3 picks I've picked against this guy. But finally, I'm on his team now. I like Kopylov to win. I think he gets a round 2 or round 3 knockout on Fremd. But hopefully Fremd doesn't get to the grappling, man, because he could really pull something out of his ass here as an underdog.
Yep, Narco, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one. Which side you leaning?
Honestly, I think this line is a little too big here for Kopylov, in the sense that I do think he probably wins. He is the much better striker. I really like his striking, actually. I think he's getting better even. He's known as a champion in combat sambo, but man, his striking looks even better lately. And the only issue I see with Kopylov is when I look at his record in the UFC, he's literally fought no grapplers. The only grappler he's faced was Albert Duraev, who went 1 for 9 in the grappling. He didn't really, even that one takedown was kind of bullshit, because the ref restarted them, and he basically restarted him in a takedown, and he just took him down and then mounted him. The thing with this fight is Kopylov now faces Fremd, who will push some grappling. And in that specific fight versus Duraev, he was hands on his knees in round 3, Kopylov was, which is a terrible look. Now, he does slow down in round 3 a lot. I know he has a lot of stoppages, but that fight was a big red flag for me. And I know Fremd is going to push grappling here. He has to. And I just feel like, he's a big dude. He's going to lean on him. He's going to clinch. I feel like, the line's a little too big for that type of fight for Kopylov. So I'm going to go with a little contrarian take here and go fight goes to decision. It's plus 176. Kopylov, like we said, he gets a lot of his fights late, 2, 3, even 4. But I think Fremd is a little tougher than people give him credit for. I don't think it's going to be easy to get him out of there. And I think with a lot of the clinching stuff, and that might just zap the clock here. So I'm going to take fight goes plus 176 here.
All right, Narco with the fight goes plus 176. Johnny taking the Kopylov 2-3 KO plus 280. And then Patrick taking the Kopylov money line minus 350 or minus 300 there for Patrick. Big on Kopylov, even though he kind of flinched at the face of. I think he was kind of just joking around there. Dixon bet the Rosas decision. Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't bet the Rosas decision. Fremd is not your friend. That is the trend until the end. Kopylov, a second round KO. Kopylov KO 2 here. And then Alex liking the Kopylov by second round. And then Richard liking the under. Let's see here. Dominant or Damari saying, I think this fight will be way too close. And closer than the line indicates I can't get there, but I think Fremd is a live dog. Definitely goes round 3 decision. Yeah, I think a lot of people think so. There has been some serious buyback as of late, so we'll see. All right, everybody, we're going to get to the featured prelim. We have Lupita Godinez going against Elise Reed. And this is a fight that I unfortunately am invested in, and I'm terrified, but I'm hoping Lupi comes in here and does the right thing. And that right thing would be to wrestle Elise Reed, who has no ground game. So Lupi is currently sitting at minus 370. Elise Reed sitting at plus 295. Narco, we'll kick it to you. What are you liking on this fight here?
Let's go Godinez KO here at plus 450. I think this is a terrible matchup for Elise Reed. She has some of the worst takedown defense. Lupi is playing in. I mean, they've said that she's going to grapple here, and she's trained with Lopez, and she's training with Grasso. Like, she's going to grapple heavy here, game plan, in my opinion, and it's going to be easy, honestly. When you watch Loma do it to Reed, when you watch Jinyu Fry get takedowns, when you watch Sam Hughes ragdoll, Reed, what is Godinez going to do if she implements a wrestle-heavy game plan? So for me, I think it's a ground and pound stoppage here, plus 450 KO. Godinez, I think she gets maybe even crucifix here.
Yeah, I think it's super live if she goes to the right game plan, and she should. I mean, come on, it's Elise Reed. We got Johnny. What is your best bet for this fight?
Well, I think this is going to be Lupi all day. But again, like you were saying, is Lupi going to grapple? Like, we've seen it to where she should in some fights, and she tried maybe once and she didn't get it. So she just stayed on the feet and struck with the, I know one was Angela Hill. Like, she tried a couple times and they weren't even the greatest takedowns. And then all of a sudden she became a boxer, and that's Angela Hill's game. But Lupi definitely has the grappling advantage here. I'm just going to play it a little safer than Narco. I'm going to go inside the distance, and that's at plus 140 on DraftKings. Either way, I can see a knockout, ground and pound, or maybe like an arm bar like she did against Silva or something like that, whenever she's on top.
All right, Godinez inside the distance for Johnny, plus 140. Narco on the KO, plus 450. Patrick, what are you liking for this featured prelim?
Yeah, I'm on the same side as Johnny, taking the safer inside the distance, just because she could get the submission, or she could just end up in a dominant position on the mat, where we know Elise Reed is the weakest here and Lupi's the strongest. She could just pound her out and get that KO for Narco. So I'll take the inside the distance at plus 140. And the biggest stat in this fight that points to a Lupi victory is the fact that Elise Reed is on that patented lose one, win one, lose one, win one. She's due for a loss now. So, but to be honest, like, even Elise Reed's wins in the UFC have been sketchy ones, right? The Melissa Martinez one came down to a positional mistake in round 3. The Jinyu Fry one was very close, and the Corey McKenna one was that weird performance by McKenna where she chose not to wrestle until the last 60 seconds of each round. Just absolutely infuriating. But hopefully Godinez just gets this done however she wants to, and gets us that inside the distance.
I hope so. I mean, I can't take Lupi going out there and not wrestling. I don't know if my heart could take it, my mental health, but we shall see. All right. So those were the prelims. Going to quickly recap what we got for the prelims here. We got Narco taking Josephine Knutson by KO plus 185 to kick off the card. Charlie Campbell under 1.5, minus 220. He's taking Tracy Cortez money line minus 120. Edgar Chariz KO plus 245. Kopylov fight goes the distance, plus 176, and Lupita Godinez KO plus 450. Johnny is starting off the card with Josephine Knutson. Fight doesn't go to decision, plus 100. Passing on the Charlie Campbell fight, using up his only pass of the card there. Jasmine Jazz the Vicious money line, plus 111. Edgar Chariz round 2, plus 550. Kopylov KO 2-3, plus 280. And then Lupi Godinez inside the distance, plus 140. And last but not least, Patrick going with Josephine Knutson KO plus 185. Passing on the Campbell fight, Tracy Cortez money line minus 120. Edgar Chariz money line minus 225. Kopylov money line minus 300. And then Lupi Godinez inside the distance plus 140. All right, now we're going to move on to the main card. Before we do so, if you guys could hit the like button, that'd be much appreciated. Go subscribe to these guys. Their links are down in the description below. Okay, we're kicking it off with a very fun fight here. We have Fernando Padilla going against Kyle Nelson. We got a line that hasn't really moved throughout the week. We got Padilla currently sitting at minus 240. Kyle Nelson sitting at plus 205. We'll start with you, Patrick. What are you liking for the main card opener here?
This is an odd one out of the Mexican fighters that are kind of being showcased here. I think this is one where I see the dog being certainly live in Kyle Nelson. So I'm probably going to look for Nelson in this one, but I'll probably take him by decision. I think those odds are plus 500 for Nelson by points. Padilla, he's very aggressive. There's still a lot to learn and a lot to prove for him. He's dangerous and very offensively good, but defensively not the greatest. And if we see this version of Kyle Nelson that showed up last time against Blake Bilder, just being kind of a very sharp, precise counter striker and, keeping up with a 3-round cardio pace like he's been doing lately, I think he could pull this one off. Maybe even work some grappling, which is a strength of his too. So, I like Padilla. I like him a lot, but I just feel like we're kind of overlooking this underdog here.
Kyle Nelson decision plus 500. I agree. I think if Kyle Nelson wins the fight, it's going to be by decision. I don't really see him finishing anybody at this point of his career. Narco, what are you liking in this fight here?
I have a bet on the over 1.5. It's minus 143. I guess there's a lot of sentiment that this guy, Nelson is easy to get out of there. But when you look at him historically, he's not easy to get out of there, actually. When he's gotten finished, it's been in later rounds. Most of them have been over the 1.5 mark outside of Diego Ferreira. So he's only been stopped once under 1.5. And when you look at Padilla, he got a nice knockout last time out, but normally, this guy has gone to a lot of decisions, even in the regional. So I don't really think he has one punch power. And also I do think Nelson probably implements some grappling here early. So, and he should. The one thing I will say is Padilla's a 10th planet guy, and he uses a lot of rubber guards. So he is kind of scary with those long-ass limbs. So Nelson needs to be careful when he's on top if he does get takedowns. But outside of that, I do think, over 1.5 is kind of safe here. And they're giving us a fairly good price at minus 143.
Yep, I actually leaned the over as well. And you talked about the submission for Padilla. I think that's kind of live myself too. So, Johnny, what do you like for this fight?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Patty said. I think Nelson can get this done. I think it's going to be by decision. He's not really a finisher. So I was going to do the same thing he did. What's his name? Nelson to win by decision. I saw that at plus 550 on DraftKings. So if you see it still there for 550, I'll take that, or 500. Either one.
Actually, see 560.
Okay, I'll even take that.
Ooh, good call, Johnny. I like that.
There you go. So
but I do like the over 1.5. I have the over 1.5 in one of my bets as well. I just think Padilla has maybe one round to get him out of there quick, and if he doesn't, I see this fight actually going to a very close decision, one way or another.
Dix Insider agrees, saying I got to play on Nelson by split. Nelson by split, so probably something crazy. And Narco, I'm sure you know what that is. The split for Nelson.
I'm looking at my sheet right now. I actually don't. I don't have. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Nelson by split 1,600.
16
on DK. Yep. If you want, I gave out the split yesterday on my show. In general, it's fucking plus 800 on this fight to end in split. That's a big number in my opinion. Because I do lean that this fight goes to decision. It's a big number. If anybody has Hard Rock, not many people have that book, but they have, I think, 650 Nelson decision.
650. Wow. All right. Let's see here. Padilla submission is very live. Agreed. I think Nelson is a better dog than Lacerda. I'd agree with that. Dixon saying Padilla is going to be too willing to be on bottom playing BJJ. He does that a lot. He loses minutes on bottom. No hometown advantage here. We shall see. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. We have Daniel Zel Huber and he is taking on Christos Giagos. We have money as of late has came in on Zel Huber. He's currently minus 275, and Christos Giagos sitting at plus 235. Johnny, we'll kick it to you first. What are you liking for this fight here?
I really like Zel Huber to win this one. He's very big. I know he's young. He didn't look great against Trey Ogden in his UFC debut, but he looked very good against Lando Venata. He's got very good striking, and Christos is, he's mainly a wrestler and grappler. He's got okay striking with power, but he just knocked out Ricky Glenn, who did not look like himself one bit. So I don't want to take too much into that, but I do think Zel Huber was going to be able to stuff the takedown. So I'm not sure if he gets the knockout or if this goes to decision, but I will play Zel Huber round 3 or decision prop, and that's at plus 120. I think Christos can survive for a couple rounds, but I think eventually Zel Huber will start to pick up the pace later in the fight. And if he doesn't get the knockout, I think he can win a decision.
All right, Zel Huber, round 3 decision, plus 120 for Johnny. Narco, what are you liking in this fight here?
I'm passing here. This is going to be my pass. Just, not really sure about Zel Huber yet. Like, I was high on him coming into his UFC debut. Then he put an absolute 0 in his first fight. Then he looked pretty good in his last fight against Venata. But I'm going to stay away here because Giagos, might be able to hit a takedown or two here. And then I don't know which way this is going to go because I do think Giagos is very, very gassy when it comes to round 3. And Zel Huber is going to have better gas tank. But he's tough. So I'm just going to stay away here. It's a pass for me.
All right. All 3 guys have used up their passes, so no passing from here on out. Patrick, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, there's still some things left to prove for Zel Huber. I'm with Narco on that one, but I do think he's going to win over Giagos, who's a very, very good fighter in round 1. But after that, his gas tank fails him, and those takedown attempts start getting sloppy. They start getting telegraphed. His striking is always very loopy and wrestle boxer-ish, doesn't really cover that distance. He's at a big reach disadvantage, I believe, here. And yeah, Daniel Zel Huber is only 24 years old. We're going to see leaps and bounds. I expect a leveled up version of him this time. I think he gets the finish in rounds 2 or rounds 3. I'll just take the inside the distance for him because I think he could get it done early as well. But that is Giagos' best round. So plus 140 for the Zel Huber double chance KO or submission.
All right, Zel Huber inside the distance for Patrick. Dixon thinks that Zel Huber is going to get smashed. Richard liking Zel Huber in this one, as does Alex. Jussie saying Zel Huber by calf slicer 200-1. Is that on MGM? They did those sub props.
Put your free bet on that one, man. That'd be awesome.
200-1. That is wild. And Jussie saying that he did get a calf slicer in 2020 or 2019. So we'll see. That'd be a heck of a call. You heard it here first. We got Forrest in the chat saying this is an elite panel. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you, Forrest, and everybody else hanging out watching the show. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have a couple fights left. We have a fight that maybe shouldn't be on the main card, but it is, and we know why. They're trying to showcase Rosas Jr. here. He's currently sitting at minus 800. Terrence Mitchell sitting at minus 550. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this with the big favorite here in Rosas. We'll start with you, Patrick. What are you liking for this fight here?
First off, how dare you suggest this is not main card caliber? It's Raul Rosas Jr., man. This kid's going to be the future of the UFC, the handsomest boy on the roster. I love this kid. And we all have a lot of money invested in him, it sounds like. I do have a bet personally on the submission for Rosas Jr., and that's what I'll take for the best bet as well. I just think that's in his DNA to get this job done. Terrence Mitchell, a guy who even on the regional scene where he's gone just reigning over everybody in Alaska, he's got good measurables and some good explosive striking early, but I think his skill set is just way outmatched by Rosas, who's just obnoxiously strong for 18 years old. So I think he's going to grab the neck of Terrence Mitchell, probably do it within a couple minutes and get the tap. So give me Rosas Jr. by submission.
What odds do you have on the sub?
-1. Are we at minus 175 on the sub? I don't know if that's outdated or not. Maybe that's been outdated. Let me check for you.
I can see if I can find it.
So I know odds on that got smashed,
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I don't see it.
Rosas Jr. by sub -200 on BetOnline. A better book has got to be out there.
I see 75. I see 75 for you there.
Okay, there we go.
All right, Rosas Jr. sub -175 at Narco. What do you like for this fight here?
I'm gonna take the square play here. I'm gonna be the square guy and take sub 1. I mean, I don't see how this guy survives, honestly. Like, Rosas is, he is, if he was timid, I would say, okay, well, maybe he doesn't get it round. But this guy goes balls to the wall right in the beginning. And he almost had Rodriguez in round one. I mean, and Christian Rodriguez, to me, is a very, very high-level fighter and as a prospect. So Mitchell is quite the opposite. So give me the round one sub, plus 105 on Bet Rivers. Pretty good price. I mean, it's the only plus money that you can get, I think, out there.
Yep, I think we can all agree that is definitely the most likely scenario there on that one. Johnny, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing Narco is doing. Round one submission. I think that's how he gets it done. I think it's the only plus money that I was looking at, and that's the only thing you really can do unless you want to get a little crazy and do knockout. But I think it's going to be a submission. Terrence Mitchell shouldn't be in the UFC. Let's be honest. Like, he's been on the Alaskan regional scene, and we all know that's not really the greatest competition he's beating, and he doesn't really get out of the second round ever, too. So he gasses usually in the first. So I think Rosas will put on a good pace early on, and then he'll probably get his neck eventually in the first.
Yep, I like it. I'm sure the majority of people can agree as well. We got BJ Santa got the Crimson Chin winning by sub 1. Richard also on the first round submission there. Bill on the sub 2 or sub 3 plus 550. I don't know. I don't know if I see Mitchell last in 5 minutes here, but we'll see. Round 1 in general minus 150. Don't hate that either. We got Richard saying, good stream, boys. Back to my shift. Rosas Jr., Holland, Grasso. Good luck tonight, homies. Good luck to you as well, Richard. Thank you for stopping in and enjoy the fights tonight. All right, 2 fights left. We have the co-main events. We have Jack Della Maddalena going against Kevin Holland. Looks like we got Jack Della currently minus 140, Kevin Holland plus 120. We'll start with you first, Johnny. What are you liking for this fight here?
So I don't know if you remember, Brady, last time we broke down a Kevin Holland fight, we were saying, Kevin Holland has a very good Darce choke, and maybe we should bet that plus 3,000, and we didn't, and he actually hit. So this is such a close fight for me, and I'm just going to do something crazy. I'm just going to do what we should have done before. I'm going to do Kevin Holland to win by Darce choke, and I believe that's plus 1,200 on BetMGM. So I'm just going to take a shot because I do think this fight will go to decision. Both guys are super tough, and they're, Holland has the experience, and, Jack Della's working his way up, but Jack's made some really bad mistakes in his last fight, and I could see him giving up the neck to Kevin Holland, and he gets that Darce choke that he likes so much. So I'm just going to take a crazy shot here and do the Darce choke win by Kevin Holland.
All right. Kevin Holland via Darce choke. Is that on MGM?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Patrick, what do you like for this fight here?
That's an awesome prop. Yeah. Who was it? Jussie Q was in my stream last time he fought, and he called that too. He gave that out. Great call. But I'll take the over 1.5 in this fight at minus 175. I know that Jack Della has gotten a lot of round 1 knockouts in the UFC, even a round 1 club and sub over Randy Brown. But these guys are not on the level of a Kevin Holland. They don't have the measurables of a Kevin Holland. And Holland is a guy with his genetic gifts. I mean, this guy could be champion at 185, 170. It's just he gets in his own head, and he can get out wrestled in spots. I could see that happening here. I think it's going to be a back and forth striking battle with Jack trying to get on the inside and box him up against the cage. I lean Jack Della, but I'm just going to go with this over 1.5. I think that's a fair price.
All right, over 1.5, minus 175. Yeah, I like that as well. Narco, what do you like for this co-main event?
I'm opposite here. I'm going to go the under 2.5 here at minus 140. I know both guys are durable, but both guys have a lot of power. Both guys have been hurt in fights. I just like the under 2.5. I'm on the Jack Della side pretty big here at minus 105. I'm not going to take him here at minus 140. I do think he's going to win this fight. And, I know a lot of people are on the opposite side, and I understand it. I understand the length, the size and all that. But when you look at Kevin Holland and who he's fought lately, guys, it's been all retirees, man. A bunch of fucking old fighters that are slow, that are not very good strikers, that are past their prime. And now he faces a guy that's in his prime, that hits very hard, that to me is the better boxer. That will probably dig the body very hard here, man, against Kevin Holland. And Holland's never faced that. And when you watch the the Stephen Thompson fight, you know what hurt Kevin is a body kick, and this guy hits very, very hard to the body. So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty big on Jack Della's side. I'm just going to take the under 2.5, where I think both guys can stop each other. And it's a fair price at -140.
All right, Narco taking the under there. We have Johnny taking the Darshuk plus 1,200, and Patrick taking the over 1.5 rounds. Do you like Holland fight start round 2 as a leg for a parlay piece? I mean, I don't hate it. Narco, you probably don't like it. The fight starts round 2. I think it's -300 though, so it's extremely chalky. -300 for it.
I just think it all depends on Holland, to be honest. Like, if Holland decides to bang it out, man, that starts round 2 is going to be very scary. And let's be honest. Like, Holland does not have the best fight IQ. He just doesn't. Sometimes he does, and sometimes it looks like shit, and he doesn't decide to do anything right. He does opposite of what he's supposed to do. So I don't know. I would be a little timid on that, just because of, it depends on Holland, I think.
No, I agree with you. What I meant when I said Holland could be champ at 185 or 170, I mean that in the same way Jamie Pickett could be champion. Like, physically, he's got all of the gifts. I don't mean like
100%,
he's got the skill set to go. I just mean like physically he's got the gifts to go. You're talking about an 80-inch reach at 170, a freakish power, and even strikes that don't land correctly.
You know what's been really weird this whole week? I don't know who started it, but somebody started this Holland wrestling advantage. But guys, go back and watch tape. Where the fuck do you see Holland having a wrestling advantage? Like, in which fight? Please name me a fight that he's had a wrestling advantage outside of Ontiveros. Which one?
Yeah.
None. He's been out grappled in every single fight. Like, fucking Tim Means, old man Tim Means took him down a couple of times. Like, come on. Yeah. I mean, this guy doesn't
Holland is he's still living off of that hype from 2020 where he got like 5 victories in a row, was in the title picture talks. I think he's still kind of riding that wave right now.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I've been hearing it over and over and over again. Wrestling advantage. Alex Oliveira, for Christ's sake, took this guy down twice. What wrestling advantage do you see? We just saw an absolute killer of a wrestler in Hafez. That guy's a tank. He went 3 for 20 against Madalena. You really think fucking Kevin Holland has wrestling success in this fight? I have no idea what people are watching, but I don't see
Narco's fired up. I love it, man. Let's
the
go.
Opportunistic grappling of Holland that he could do. That's about it.
The only way I see it happening, and he goes for an actual takedown, is I think if he gets hurt on the feet, because he did it against Thompson in round 4 when Thompson hurt him. Kevin Holland shot for a takedown. That was the only time we see him like going for it. And I honestly don't think his wrestling is any good at all. Like, I don't see it at all. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if people are expecting Holland to wrestle here, they're going to have a bad time more than likely. Yeah, I don't have a bet on this fight. I have a bet on, like, think 9 out of 11. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this one, see what happens here. But it's now time for the main event here. We have Valentina Shevchenko going against Alexa Grasso. Just refresh the page. It looked like Chef was sitting at -140 for a second. Now she's back to -173. Alexa Grasso currently sitting at +148. We'll start with you, Patrick. What are you liking for the main event?
Man, we're at Noche UFC. We've got the Mexicans out. I find myself on the underdog here on Alexa Grasso. I know all the statistics go against her in this fight. I mean, Shevchenko, probably the better striker, more credentialed striker, way more experience, 7 title defenses, and we're seemingly getting her at a buy low spot here. But I got to take the momentum going in the favor of Alexa Grasso. I thought that the fight back in March was actually going to go her way towards the end of it. You saw her looking very fresh in round 4 and round 5, just like she looked fresh in round 4 and 5 against Araujo last year as well. I think she's leveling up every time we see her. That southpaw switch in the striking was giving Shevchenko trouble. And as long as she can stay off the mat this time, if we see that part level up early in the fight, I think Grasso is going to cruise here to just land the bigger moments in the boxing where she's the best at and actually show off some better takedown defense. I think we're seeing a decline of Shevchenko. I think we're seeing more improvements from the younger champion here. So at +148, that'll be the best bet.
Grasso money line +148 for Patrick. Johnny, what are you liking for this main event?
I'm going to do fight goes the distance at -130 on FanDuel. I think both girls are super tough. I know Grasso was able to get the submission, but I don't want to say it was a fluke, but it was kind of one of those things where it's like a bang bang thing and it happened. I don't think that happens here again. I am picking Valentina though as a pick though. I think she still has it. She might be declining, but I still think she has enough in her to get this one done. I think she'll be more focused. I don't think she's going to make that mistake again that get Grasso on her back like that. And I mean, I personally think she was winning the fight even in round 4 until she did that spinning back kick, and then she lost in that round. So if she does the same game plan and just focus in a little bit more, I think she's going to win this fight 49-46 or even 48-47. So either way, I think this fight goes the distance though.
What are the odds on that fight goes, off the top?
-130, and that's on FanDuel.
-130. All right. And I do want to pull up something in the chat. We always got to remember to bet responsible here. Where is it? Oh, if Grasso loses, I'll lose my house and car. Like, come on. I mean, let's be responsible.
Hey, but if she wins, he gets another house.
You're getting a new car.
Double up. Let's go, buddy. I totally co-sign on that. Let's go.
You co-sign. I'm not co-signing
on that, man. What's the worst? You're homeless for a bit until next week. You get to bet
homeless and
You'll
carless.
win it all back. You'll win it all back next week.
AJ saying Gross is a lock. We shall see. Narco, what do you like it for this main event?
Man, I love Shevchenko here, -165. I mean, this market overreaction is like, honestly, I watched that Grasso fight 3 different times. I'm like, am I missing something in this fight that like, because I see a lot of love for Grasso and a lot of people that I respect are on Grasso. And I'm like, let me go back and watch this fight more than once because I'm probably missing some things. And honestly, I went round by round and I wrote all these notes round by round. Shevchenko's winning the entire striking round in round 1 up until she gets caught, right? She gets caught, gets wobbled 100%. Grasso wins the round then. And it sways the striking stats because now the striking stats look like Grasso clearly won that round because she outlanded her now. But it was all after when she rocked her. She got all her strikes in. She clearly got outlanded in round 1. Round 2 and round 3, she clearly lost those rounds easily to Shevchenko. I watched round 4. She got her head jabbed off in round 4 by Shevchenko. Literally, she landed maybe 25 jabs on her in round. She literally started swelling up her eye from the jab. And I'm like, wait, people were saying round 4 was swinging and it was looking good for Grasso? Where? I didn't see it up until the
back kick.
She was getting murdered in the striking there. And it's like, okay, now why is this line 165? Because of one punch and one stupid. And to be honest, I'll be completely frank. And I try not to believe in this stuff, but my God, that spinning kick looked so weird. And the way she flopped, the way she gave up her neck, like without fighting anything, the choke wasn't even in. She tapped out. It was really fucking weird to me, honestly. I have to question it when it looks weird. Was she dead tired? I don't know, maybe. But people were saying Shevchenko was tired, but Grasso was just as tired, man. Her mouth was open. She was missing with all her punches. She landed 30% striking accuracy.
She was actually initiating some grappling up against the cage, too.
Yeah.
She's a boxer. She shouldn't do that.
Shevchenko looked bad. She looked bad in the sense that in 4th round, she shot for takedowns, didn't get them. They were kind of slow, but she still dominated the striking in round 4. And now you're giving me 165 off of what? What? She was -600 live in that round before the spinning kick. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe there's something going on. UFC Noche, Grasso, the belt is all Mexican colors. I might be an idiot for betting this, but if I'm looking at tape and I'm strictly going off tape, I'm not kidding. This line should be -400 off tape. It really should. Grasso didn't win the striking, guys. That's where she should win this fight. She did not win the striking in this fight. And if you look at the stats too, she almost got outlanded 2-1. Shevchenko landed 60% of her strikes. And now we're looking at -165, and she definitely has the grappling edge here. Yep. I don't know, man. This line's extremely awkward.
Hey, Brady, can you pull up MMA Jesus 420's comment that numbers don't matter, Narco? Can you pull that one up, please?
You can pull it up there.
Hey, I agree with you. Numbers don't matter. They get swayed, but optics matter. Watch the fucking fight. There's no way You come watching that fight. There's no way you could say Grasso is winning that fight at all.
No.
Same page, Narco. Same page.
I agree. I mean, I'm glad I'm not going crazy, Narco, because I watched the fight back and I was like, what the heck?
I have almost 4 units on Shevchenko at this point, all late. And I'm an idiot. Yesterday it got down to 144. I should have hit it again.
Yeah. I got 2 units on Shevchenko too. I think she gets it done.
I'm not kidding. If this line goes down again, I'm probably going to hit it again because let me be the idiot that, doesn't believe in narratives and stuff like that.
Hey, can you pull up Jake Paul? Jake Paul in the house, everybody. Saying lock of the week, Grasso. Oh,
got the Jake Paul in the building. We got a celebrity.
Hey,
lock of the week.
Yeah.
Lock of the week on a girl that got destroyed in the first fight. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard some weird take. Like somebody on Twitter the other day said that like Grasso was like dominating the striking. It's like I don't know about
she would have look at Pick'em. He says she would have won that round. I know she would have won it after the stupid, but prior to that kick,
she was losing.
Weird looking kick. She was absolutely getting dominated in the striking. Like she wasn't landing anything.
Yep. We shall see. We shall see. All right. So what we're gonna do now is pull up the bets for everybody. Going to go through them quickly so the chat knows. And then we're going to give our best bet for the entire card. If you hit this bet, your profit's going to double. So say, for example, Narco's best bet is the loopy KO. Instead of getting 4.5 units, he will get 9 units there. So we will start with Narco. We took Josephine Kutson by KO plus 185. The Campbell Reyes under 1.5 rounds minus 220. Cortez money line minus 120. Chariz KO plus 245. Fremd Kopylov fight goes the distance plus 176. Loopy KO plus 450. Nelson Padilla over 1.5 rounds minus 143. Passing on the Zel Huber fight. Rosas Jr. sub 1 plus 105. Holland JDM under 2.5 minus 140. And then Shevchenko money line minus 165. Narco, what is your best bet for the entire card?
All right, let's swing for the fences. Edgar Chariz KO plus 245.
Edgar Chariz KO plus 245 for Narco is the best bet. Move on to Johnny K. Pick series taken Kutson. The fight doesn't go the distance plus 100. Passing on the Campbell fight. Taking Jasmine Jazz the Vicious money line plus 111. Chariz KO 2 plus 550. Kopylov KO 2-3 plus 280. Loopy inside the distance plus 140. Nelson decision plus 560. Zel Huber round 3 decision plus 120. Rosas Jr. sub 1 plus 105. Holland via Darshok plus 1200. Shevchenko fight goes the distance minus 130. Johnny, what is your best bet for the entire card?
I was going to do the same fight that Narco did. So Edgar Chariz round 2 plus 550 is my best bet.
So that'd be a big hit there for Johnny. Not only 5.5 units, but he will get 11 units. I need it. There you go.
I need it.
Yes, sir. And then we got Patrick, who, like I said earlier, has been slowly climbing up the rankings here. Patrick, you are taking Josephine Kutson KO plus 185. You're passing on the Campbell fight, taking Cortez money line minus 120. The Chariz money line minus 225. Kopylov money line minus 300. Loopy inside the distance plus 140. Kyle Nelson decision plus 560. Zel Huber inside the distance plus 140. Rosas Jr. submission minus 175. Holland JDM over 1.5 minus 175. And then the Grasso money line plus 148. Patrick, what is your best bet for this card?
And I want to go crazy on this, but I've been climbing by pretty much staying in the same spot here. It's just people are getting worse. I'll go Raul Rosas Jr. sub minus 175. Double that one. I think that's the surest victory there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well. So there you go. Narco going with Edgar Chariz KO for his best bet. Johnny going with Chariz round 2 for his best bet. And then Patrick taking the Raul Rosas sub minus 175 for his best bet. There you have it. Those are the bets. Best of luck to all these guys. Going to kick it around. Narco, let the people know where they can find you and what you typically have going on for an MMA content week.
Yeah, Narco Cop on Twitter. Narco Cop MMA is my YouTube channel every Friday. I have the Lambo Police podcast with Timothy Troiano. I do a live spaces for every fight card on Twitter Spaces. Yeah, I mean, that's about it, guys. Thank you to everybody in chat. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Go check out Narco. He'll be going on his Twitter for live space. And the Narco, aren't you really close to like, is it 2K or 3K subs?
2K. I think I'm like 20 away.
There you go. We have 300 of you in here. If you guys could all go sub to Narco, let's get him to 2K. Puts in a lot of hard work there. We got Johnny. No problem. Johnny in the chat. Johnny, let people know where they can find you and what you typically have going on for some MMA content.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show again. You can find me at Johnny K Picks at Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I do my breakdowns on Sunday or Monday nights for every card. Thursday nights, me and Cody from Blood Money MMA Bets, we always do our live shows. And also Saturdays, we do a pre-fight show with Patrick. This time, we're having him on our panel, and it's going to be on his channel as well. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely check us out then. And yeah, good luck on everybody with their bets and everything like that, and hope we win some money.
And last but not least, we got Patrick. Patrick, let the people know where they can find you and what you typically have going on for some content weekly.
Yeah, my name is Patrick. For those of you who don't know me, I run a channel called Addicted to Combat. Go ahead and subscribe over there. And also, like Johnny K just said, I'll be co-hosting the pre-fight show 2 hours before the prelim starts. So 5 p.m. Eastern time. You can join us live, hanging out, talking final betting action with Blood Money MMA Bets. Johnny K Picks will be featuring our guest this week, Broke Bets. A couple of awesome cappers there. So after that, you guys can then go and hop into Narco, his live Twitter spaces for the entirety of the show. Get some great live betting action there. So you've got a full day of just hanging out with us, talking fights. Love all of you guys in the chat. You guys are great. And man, we're at 16 out of 17 straight weeks of UFC fights. So all of you guys in the panel here, congrats. We're almost there with a week off. And all of you guys in the subscribers in the live chat, you guys work just as hard, I'm sure, on your own personal bets too. So we're almost there, you guys.
Oh, it's been such a grind, but we are almost there. One more week, we can do it. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Go check these out. Go subscribe to these guys. Subscribe here as well. We'll be back next week for some best bet as well. And best of luck for Noche UFC. Should be a very, very fun card tonight. And I wish everybody luck on their bets and enjoy the fights tonight. See you guys later.